Life be feeling like we on a merry-go-round, but I'ma steer this here, cause promise we ain't going down. No matter what comes, yeah, my confession is I'm in love with me.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Mimi Talks.
And I'm Tiffany Ellis.
All right. So let's get right into this episode of Talk to Mimi, the podcast. Friend, let's go. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. So, all of the things have been circulating in the circulation of the circular movement.
Okay.
Down to the social media. Right? Right on down. So it just, I had a conversation the other day and the question came up. Are labels in relationships important? I can, with my chest, I can say I've never had a boyfriend. I can't count.
But we know.
I can't count the ones down to the high school because I'm an elder now, baby. They call me auntie now.
That's fair.
So.
Hold on, when did that happen?
I don't know. The transition wasn't really a transition for me.
I woke up one day and people started calling me auntie and I'm just like, making no sense.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry. I'm still in shock.
Yeah.
I literally was telling somebody the other day, I feel like I was the young person on the job.
Correct.
And now all of a sudden I'm
Correct.
auntie and I didn't even know when that happened.
Correct. The transition, there was it was apparently seamless because I didn't even realize it happened.
Like that.
Next thing you know, auntie. And auntie is crazy, but I'm a go and accept it.
Yeah.
So, we had the auntie age and I can't count the little high school boyfriends. Those are my little friends.
Okay, fair.
My little friends.
Fair.
But yeah, I've never had a boyfriend. There was never a label boyfriend in my entire existence on the earth.
So I don't think I agree with that though.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I agree with that. So I mean, it is difficult for me to say that because I've always had a boyfriend,
right?
Maybe.
Right.
And I feel I've always had labels, but I don't think that relationships are necessarily built around what we identify as. I just don't. So you saying I never had a boyfriend, but if you, or him saying I never had a girlfriend, but if you all were living together, having sex, banking together, or sharing expenses, traveling together,
sure,
for a prolonged period of time, then what do you define that as?
That's my friend. Because here's the thing, down to the obituary.
Okay.
Down to the obituary, it's gonna say, and friend or special friend or whatever they label it as. They wouldn't even identify me, right?
Why do you say that?
I don't think that they would identify me. They would identify perhaps their children if they, if you share children or whatever. Those, you can't. They got your last name, right? Maybe even a fiance or whatever they might, But I think that, what is it gonna say? And family? I don't know. I just don't think. I think if it doesn't have a label, then it ain't recognized. Cause
is that what you believe?
I personally believe that because and maybe I'm speaking from experience. It's what they call it now, situationship. I guess it's a situation, and you can recognize the situation, I guess, but it ain't no label. So niggas be turning that shit around oh, you ain't really my girlfriend, XYZ, whatever. It's not really a thing.
So you feel that it is important to have a label because it kind of defines how you move in the relationship or in the relationship?
I believe so. I believe that if you have a definition of what a clear cut of who this person is, then it's a little less room for error. Not saying that we're not prone to human error. We, it is what it is. But I feel like under a definition, this is what this is defined as. That's my boyfriend. That's my girlfriend.
So, yeah, the thing about that, though, and I understand what you're saying. I feel perhaps in a romantic relationship that it's really important because that's where it gets murky. And you have to say, you'll be setting yourself up for nonsense if you don't define it. But I think, I was talking about this with Akira long ago, and I was talking to her about a family member who bothered me. And I was saying, but this is my ex. And she said, the problem is, and Akira is my best friend. For those of you who don't know, y'all will be
Shout out Akira, hey girl.
But what Akira was saying was that the reason we as people are often disappointed is because we put a label on people and we feel they should behave according to the label.
Sure.
So she was saying, like, if it's your mom or your brother or your sister, we decide what we feel that means to us.
Sure.
And then we expect people to operate with that understanding, but everybody doesn't feel the same way about the title. And so she was saying, just treat it as a relationship you're in with a person. And so I've always kind of saw how that could apply. And I've applied that across my life, but I do understand what you're saying in that it could set you up for failure in a romantic relationship.
A setup from the get up. And in the same breath, I can appreciate and understand what Akira is referencing, because truth, me and my mom, we have a decent relationship, right? Like, there will never be a time where I would outwardly disrespect. There will never be a time that I will let anybody disrespect.
Because it's your mom.
Because it's my mama.
It's the label, right?
Yeah. Right. But the relationship that her and I have, we don't, and we've had this conversation several times. We don't have the mother-daughter relationship per se. And she's like, I see other moms and daughters and they talk and they XYZ or whatever. And I'm like, we don't talk because when we talk, we miss each other. And I feel like you're committed to misunderstanding what I'm trying to express to you.
Can I poke on that for a
Sure.
second? When you say you miss each other, what do you mean?
I mean, so I can only speak personally. So if I'm telling my mom, or if I ask her a question, hey mom, did you see that black shirt? I left it on the bed. The other day when I took the garbage out, it's like I will literally be talking about apples and she will literally be talking about oranges. Like, we literally are on two different streets. Mm-hmm. The response, it's not even more. And I spend the majority of the conversation circling back like, okay, yeah, I did see that garbage on the counter. About that black shirt that was on the bed though. And it's a constant of, I have to keep redirecting. So it's exhausting in a sense, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why we don't, because girl, I'd be tired. I can't do this all day long.
Where do you think that comes from though? Like, why is that her? Why is that the way that you two interact?
I can't really put my finger on that. I want to say that we never really communicated. Mm-hmm. I want to also say that I know we have so many similarities, right? So many. And then there are so many things that's not. And I think that the things that are not kind of rub us the wrong way, because maybe you don't understand why I think and move like I've always been free. Right? And the kid that got straight A's in school, but that conduct, sus.
Yeah.
Girl, your mouth. Your mouth.
I mean, most gifted kids are
sure,
that way.
Sure. Sure. I found that in our community that's usually what that is. Yeah. Like, you get good grades. She's such a bright girl, but girl,
she won't
mouth.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Me.
Raise his hand.
And now I get paid to speak. So I
hello.
Guess,
you want to talk about it? Come on, take the
I mean, that's the thing, and I don't want to. I'm gonna go back. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Because I don't want to. But I'm just asking that question because, like, as I'm listening to you talk, I guess I'm trying to hear, like, so in that dynamic, who wants the label more? Does she want the daughter more, or do you want the mom more?
She probably wants the daughter more, but that doesn't negate that I want the mom too. Like, I don't know who wants what more per se. I feel like maybe she does because I've accepted what this is. So that's why when she comes to have the conversations, hey, why don't you XYZ? My resolve is because this. And that's how I program my mind. My mind says this is what this is. So that's why we don't.
But see, and so that's why I would go back to what Akira said as making perfect sense. Because I understand both sides of it. And what it sounds like to me is because you're her daughter, it sounds like she has a certain expectation
Sure.
of what a daughter is and what the relationship should be like.
Sure.
And you're saying the same thing. But in this situation, it sounds like if you two were to just handle each other as two women trying to figure out how to exist in a relationship and communicate, you might get further, because I think she's going to feel...
I agree. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I can. And I feel like a lot of factors come into play, the era that they came up in.
Absolutely.
Right?
You're a child. Right?
Yes.
And then you're not just a child.
At
you're
my big
child.
age. Yes.
Yeah, you're my child. So I have certain expectations as a person who is from this generation.
Sure.
I have certain expectations as a mother for my child and how you're supposed to respond to me.
Absolutely.
And so that may keep her from seeing the error in her ways, because there's a certain something built into this title.
Yes.
Which is why, so it kind of made Kyra
Kyra saying something or whatever.
It kind of makes it sound accurate. Now, I think, so in relationships, though, where it gets sticky is like, and I haven't dated in 14 years.
Hello, shout out.
So I'm not trying to like give dating advice, because I'm not no expert in dating. I don't do that shit. But what I am going to say is I do feel like in the dating world, I see a lot of people say, oh, we don't have to put a label on it because they want an excuse to fuck off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what it be sometimes.
And I feel like that is a large portion of it. Yeah. I mean, I could be adding my 2 cents based on my personal experiences, but I feel like that's like damn near 70% of it. Now, what are the reasonings as to why not? Right?
Yeah.
If it's not that, like, you still want to have a sense of freedom. You feel like, okay, if I have a title on this, then I can't do this. Right. Yeah. Right. And to that point, I ain't saying no names or nothing like that, but that is what I've heard before. Like, I don't want that responsibility, because that's what it comes with.
It comes with. Yeah. You know what's making me think about? So it was a point this year when I was like, I do not identify as vegan. Period. Because that label,
right? It comes with responsibility.
Okay, and it's a certain behavior. It's like a certain mentality. And I'm not trying to come at vegans. Y'all don't come for me, because I know how y'all are. Y'all worse than Beyonce fans. Okay,
and they carrying a little bit of PETA in them too. They act like PETA a little.
But like, there was a point this year when I was trying to go like eat more alkaline raw foods, and I guess that would classify me as vegan. And I was staying away from dairy and all that stuff. But I never wanted to say I'm vegan, because when you say vegan, people have a certain relationship with that word. And it makes them feel like you're going to be a certain way. You're going to eat a certain way. You're going to do a certain thing. And then I also didn't want the responsibility, if I decided to have some cheese, of having to explain what I'm doing. So it does kind of play devil's advocate for the person who doesn't really want the label, because they don't want the respect. You get what I'm saying? But what I'm describing is when I want to fuck off. Yeah.
What you're describing is when you want to fuck off, because you don't want the responsibility that's attached to the label. And so in retrospect, I can appreciate, like I said, the thought process behind it, because you get a little older. I'm talking about 20-year-old Mimi, right? Yeah. I'm this 20, damn near 20 years later, right? And older Mimi can say, okay, I can appreciate that. Even though we were doing all of the things, bank accounts together, paying bills together, all of the whatever it all came with.
In a relationship.
Are you sure?
I mean, I get it. Like, I'm not saying he did nothing. I'm not saying you did nothing. But I'm saying in that situation, based on what you've described, y'all was in a whole ass relationship. Now, that's for y'all to sort out logistics. But I'm just telling you, if I had met him and I was a single woman and he's living with his girlfriend, and then they have a baby. And
a friend that's a girl, I feel like, or somebody, I don't know what what's the definition or how you describe. I don't know what he used to describe me. I don't know, right? But I know that term never came out. So I just,
how do you feel about that?
I don't know if I've fully dealt with it. I've had moments where I'm like, okay. And when I was talking to my therapist, she said you have this thing about you where you feel like you have to figure it out
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, because I feel like most things should have a resolve, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm fully aware that some things just are, they just exist. And I feel like this happens to be in that category. It just is. Like, I don't feel like, even if he was to give me an explanation to say, okay, this is why I thought this way for this long or whatever, at this point where we haven't been together in many moons, right? Okay, it just is. I guess I got the definition now for what future references. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
You know, so.
Would you want the next person you're involved with to
Yes,
put labels
the
on
nigga
it?
got to ask me. He literally have to, will you be my girlfriend? Check yes, no, or maybe. We really have to. He has to.
We going back to the 99s and the
Yes,
2000s. Okay.
yes. Taking over for the 99. And circle yes, no, maybe. He has to fully say the words. Unless and until.
Then you're not in a relationship.
I don't know nothing about it. I'm Bennett.
See, yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't think if I were dating someone, I don't think that I would be comfortable with us not identifying what we were doing.
Sure.
So I guess I am saying that we should have labels.
Yeah.
But I also I don't know, it's tough because I also know that like I have a husband. He has a wife.
Yeah.
We wear rings, but the rings don't make us any more married.
Sure.
How we identify in our heads and how we conduct ourselves. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's a mindset.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because there are some people that are like, they say we're married spiritually. Like, is that a thing? Then, like, I'm like,
listen, that's complicated.
Okay.
I can't speak on that.
Okay.
I ain't never did that before. So
Okay.
I can't
Right. I don't know nothing about it.
I've only been like legally married. So.
Right. So
yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's a lot of girls like myself that are still walking around, and I feel like I'm almost like 2 seconds away from starting a Free the Girls campaign. Like, I want to like free the girls. Free the girls.
What does that mean?
Free the girls. Like, whatever you need to be freed from, free the girls. The girls is in here trapped. And I want them to be free. Like, free the girls from situationships.
Oh.
Free the girls from, hold on, I made a little list, friend, because it's a lot of things.
That y'all need to be free from?
Yes, it's a few things. The free the girls that's never been in a relationship. Like, free the girls, if we could go this far, free the girls that never had an orgasm. I've had conversations with girls that have never experienced. Okay, no problem.
I'm not having this conversation.
They don't want to talk about it. Free the girls. Free the Girls campaign is in full effect. I need a shirt that say "Free the Girls."
Okay.
Free the girls. Whatever that looks like.
That needs to be the next level.
That needs to be it. Free the girls, baby, because the girls are in bondage, and I want them to be freed. Free yourself from people that are not even being clear with you. They're not clear.
That's the whole word.
Yeah, they're not being clear. So why are you sticking around, baby? Not a no response or a confused response is a response. That's good enough.
But that starts. So when you talk about that real quick, I feel like that acceptance for that kind of behavior starts in our friendship.
Sure.
I mean,
can we talk?
I mean, you know,
let's go.
Because I do feel like we have such. I can't say we. I don't want to use a broad generalization. I have personally, and I know a lot of women who have had the same thing, and we've talked about it, had friends who it just didn't give you friendship vibes.
Yes.
And so you get used to kind of you get used to accepting like
subpar, less, yeah.
And then that carries over into your romantic relationships.
Absolutely.
So before you realize it, you have this whole life of people who don't really fuck with you the way you fuck with them.
Sure.
And that can do something to you. Because then you turn around and get a job that treats you the exact same way. And that's what we need to be free from. It's that mindset that makes us feel that we have to accept less than what we're worth.
Free the
across
girls.
the board. Free the girls.
Free the girls.
I'm with it now.
Yeah. Free the girls. Like, I feel like, we've talked at length about that, and we've.
Because the friendships is where it starts.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to
seriously.
Especially like in this season of my life, in the last few years, I have to say, like, Black women, first of all, I fuck with y'all big time.
I love us for real.
We are it. But like having real strong, like just solid ass Black women as friends, who really like help you see yourself in them and see your worth.
Yes.
It gives you like a different like way of looking at situations. I've had friends who will tell me like, that job don't deserve this. They don't deserve, and like they have me checking myself and remembering who I am. And in turn, it carries over into my other relationships.
Absolutely.
So we have to start setting the bar for ourselves, not just in our romantic relationships, but across the fucking board.
Across the board.
To be in all the relationships.
Absolutely.
Even with our kids. But
okay, because we can go there. Because even with our kids, the level of we have to hold ourselves accountable and create those boundaries. And we grew up in a certain time, right? And I like to call us the middle generation, and I got that from J. Cole. J. Cole had this whole thing called Middle Child, and my revelation from that was we were too young to be old, but too old to be young. We were like right there in the middle. So we got that little end of the cusp of what kind of like how our parents moved and how they were raised. But then we were like right in the beginning of the whole internet era. Like we was the first ones of AOL, Messenger, all of the things, right? And I feel like just that way we kind of almost have one foot in, one foot out. And it kind of creates that, okay, well, maybe I should do it like this, or maybe I shouldn't do it like that. And I feel like it kind of got us looking how it sounds, a little confused. We a little confused, like with the levels of boundaries that we should create and what we should accept and what we shouldn't. Like our parents did the whole working for a company for 35, 40 years, whatever. These kids right now, baby, if they don't like the way you blinked at them, they quit.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think that with that we might be a little confused on how we set our boundaries, how we create how we even treat ourselves, relationships. Do we say that we're going to stick this one out? What do we know? How do we know which one we're letting go of? How do we know, like, okay, is this something that we could work on? Is this fixable? Like, what are those thought processes? I feel like I struggle with that a lot, actually, to know what to work on, what to let go. Free the girls.
Free the girls. As you're talking, I'm thinking about like connecting the dots. So the first part of the conversation, I hear us talking about labels and how labels define like how we should move in situations. It almost sounds to me like we need to have labels on our relationships. Like past that point, have the labels on the relationships that allow us to kind of govern how we show up in these other spaces as well too,
sure,
right?
Yeah.
So like just thinking off the top of my head, if I think about the example we gave with work, where I said like some of us have toxic work situations and they have us out here looking crazy. Like a toxic work relationship labeled as that tells you that you need to do what? Get the fuck up out of there, right? Yeah. A toxic relationship tells you what?
Sure.
Yeah. So the more I'm talking to you now, maybe there is a need for some labels.
I feel like because the job that I had prior to this one was the literal, like if you looked up toxic work environment, that would have been it. That would have been what was pictured next to that word. And I literally identified it based on past experiences, right? And it was past experiences not in a workspace, because I've actually never worked in a space like that. Like I felt like you walk in and you can literally feel a switch change. Like it feels like you walked into the heaviness of a heavy spirit. You feel like you walked into somewhere crazy. And I think the only way I did know that is because of past romantic relationships. I know what this feels like. Like this is not my boyfriend. This is not the person I'm dealing with, but I'm essentially feeling the same feelings. I'm feeling the same things. I'm feeling the same heaviness. I'm feeling the same, like all of a sudden, I don't want to do nothing in here. I just feel like drained, like the life is being sucked out of me. My realtor is the only reason why I ended up transitioning from one job to the next. Because I was like, oh, I'm about to quit this shit. I don't give a damn. I said, if it's money I need, I'll work at Wendy's before I do this shit right here. I'm here to do a service. You know my line. I'm here to do a service in exchange
for currency.
That's it. That's all I'm here to do. So where is it that you said?
I love that line. You say, I'm here to do a service in exchange for U.S. currency.
That's it. That's it, honey. So if that's the case, welcome to Wendy's. Like, if that's it, right? Because I don't want to feel like this. I don't like the level of toxicity that exists here. So, and I feel like the only way that I did know how to identify that is based on past relationships that didn't have a label, but it had a feeling. Is that what we're going with?
Okay. So then the summary of that whole thing is A, we agree labels are good because it tells us what we're getting.
Yes.
Ooh. Yeah, it tells us what we're getting.
Come on, read the back of the label yes.
Because it tells us what we're getting. 2, if we identify or if we label something as toxic or unhealthy or not real, inauthentic, then we have a responsibility to take action.
Sure.
Because if we continue to consume it,
and
it's bad for us, it can make us sick.
I feel like we did it. I feel like we brought that whole thing together.
Yeah.
I feel like we brought that whole thing together.
Labels. So we freeing the girls.
We freeing the girls.
Telling them when they get back in bondage, they need to have labels.
You need to have labels, and
healthy labels.
Yes, you have these clear cut, and if somebody's still beating around the bush, then you know what that is. You know what that is. So just go ahead and head on out. I felt good about that. I felt good about that conversation. I feel like we had a nice little. All right, I only have one more thing. So, what's overshare? Is there
overshare?
Yeah,
what do you mean?
What's the term mean to you? Oversharing.
Oversharing. It's something. So this is not funny, but it's funny. It's kind of fucked up. I met somebody recently who was like, "Oh, I'm in therapy, but I have a problem with oversharing. It's the way that I build relationships, and I tend to trauma bond." Like, she was telling me all this shit.
Wow.
And I was sitting there like,
it's not working.
When do I leave?
Right.
No, so I feel oversharing, it can mean so many things, right? If I had to give a definition right now without having thought about it before now, I would say it's just sharing more than is needed. It is not understanding the boundary and what should be kept.
Yeah.
It is inappropriate use of information, I guess, right? Because it's like it crosses the line. Like, I don't need to have all of this.
Yes, yeah. I feel like I brought that up because of all of the things that's happening right now with our dear sweet Will and Jada.
Oh, that's not oversharing. That's something else.
What is it?
I don't know, but that's
because I don't want to know these things, right? And I feel like the era that we're in, like even we're on the way here, I was at a red light and I just opened my phone, and I guess the last thing I closed it on was Instagram. When I opened it, Monique was on a podcast and she was sharing why she calls her husband daddy. What's happening?
So I feel like I've seen her talk about that before because people have had something to say about it. Okay, so with Will and Jada, this is what I have to say. I think that I don't know when it went left. Like, Jada was doing so good to me in my eyes,
and they're saying so right before I read it. Right before I read the Monique thing, they're saying that we're just falling into clickbait because they're saying that none of what the actual interviews that she's been on, because she's on a book press push or whatever, they're saying none of what, because I haven't watched anything. All I've been doing is scrolling and seeing what the little clickbait is, and they're saying like the book is nothing about that. She's like not being derogatory towards Will, whatever. They even had the book release, not the book release, I think it's her mom's birthday or something like that, and Will was there, and they're saying it's not what they're making it out to be.
So that's what, okay. So I don't know. Like, what makes me sad about this whole situation is I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't listen to a lot of radio. I don't be on Facebook like that. So I haven't seen Red Table, if it even still comes on anymore.
I don't even know.
But
I don't think so.
I remember watching it and just being so inspired by the platform she created and the space she was holding for her family, and how it appeared that she was doing like really deep healing work, and how it was healing her family and in addition to her. And so I was like, this is just so good. When the August Alsina thing happened, I knew that she had Jada. I knew you fucked them.
Yeah, right.
But I wasn't even tripping because that's your business.
Right. You know.
But I didn't understand why it had to be like put out there the way it was. Now I understand that he kind of leaked some stuff, et cetera, et cetera. But you know, the downside to this whole thing is they're celebrities. I don't know what that feels like.
Right.
So I don't know
Absolutely.
what it takes to navigate that space. But at this point, it's just too much.
It's too
much.
often,
and I don't even look at the internet.
It's
and
giving
I know
very
that
much
there.
overshare, and that's where I'm like, because like I said, that's been happening these last, and then like I said, as soon as I open my phone and the Monique thing, and it's not just it's not exclusive to just them two, because you open it and it's always something about something, like, oh, somebody opened the front door, like, who the fuck gives a fuck? Like, what are we doing right now? Is it because it's the internet era? Like, like overshare is like, that's the thing.
How many of us have gotten rules on content creation?
I don't know. I don't think nobody.
Has, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's the problem. The problem is you have created this access to the whole world.
Sure.
At the click of a finger.
Sure.
Right? And then you have given this access to people who have different like motives, right? Like some people are genuinely lonely and just want to connect with someone.
Sure.
Some people want attention. I mean, some people are looking for a relation, like they're looking for things, right? And so the reason we have oversharing is because no one's ever been taught how to use the internet. We were just given access to it.
Right.
And I think that makes a difference.
That's good.
Right? And so even with kids, like they don't know, like when I worked in insurance, I can say this now because I'm not in the industry anymore. I worked in insurance, and if you got in a car accident and you were making an injury claim, we would go on your social media and we would look up your page to see, okay, you say you injured and you're going to the doctor 5 days a week. But there was one girl, literally the girl was injured, and then on Facebook, she riding on elephants in Africa. Make it make sense. You get what I'm saying? Oversharing.
Oh, yes, oversharing.
I would not put that out there.
Yeah.
But if you haven't been taught how to use this resource, it could be harmful to you, right? And so I say that to say, like, I think there needs to be some sort of like etiquette. Like when you log onto these accounts, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, there almost needs to be like a do's and don'ts. Right. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of give you an idea of like how you should be using this, how you should view it, because not everybody has the same understanding.
Not everybody. And when I was applying for the same toxic job, a friend of mine, because you know, like you said, it's, you know, content. So you put whatever out. So I take my birthday pictures or whatever, no shirt, all of the things, right? So now I'm getting this job, and she was like, delete all that shit. Yeah. You don't know what they about to look at. Take it all down. So I was like, delete. That was my precursor. Not everyone has the, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
You don't have somebody to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all right now, anybody who's listening or watching this, LinkedIn recruiters are going to use that to figure out who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what kind of person are they getting before they even pull your resume. So think about that as you're posting on LinkedIn. Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, the exact same. So I'm very transparent about what I post. Some people might think I overshare because I talk a lot about I teach a lot or speak a lot from personal experience because I feel I'm able to best show up as my most authentic self when I'm talking about like a personal situation and I have like the credibility around that. But whatever you're putting out there, depending on what platform you're on, people are going to use that information for their good or not. So just be careful as you're posting stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. I feel like I too may have fallen. I may fall victim. Come saying may have like it's past tense because I don't know what's coming next. I don't know, right? I think I may have fallen victim to oversharing.
I don't think you do.
You don't think so?
No.
Because I think there are times where I just say, no, I'm not posting that. No, I'm not doing that. Or whatever.
I don't think you overshare at all. I mean, so when I think of you, I think of your talking platform, and I think of your fitness journey and motherhood. And those are your three pillars that you talk about often. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I don't think you overshare.
I feel good about it.
Yeah. So I got a question for you real quick. You have your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What are you hoping that people get from this platform?
So from this platform, I feel like this is a space where I can overshare, or I would like to overshare, because there are so many parts of me that's closed off. Like I've never had a conversation about my mom aside from my cousin. Like I said, I talk to her like it's really actually sickening. We might have to go get that diagnosed. Like we
Really?
talk a lot, right?
That's a blessing.
It is. Thank God. Like she's my person. I'm her person. Very good. I love her so much.
Yeah.
She's actually who called and texted me. I was like, girl, I'm about to record. What?
Yeah. But it's good that you have that because
Absolutely.
so many people are lonely.
Yes.
Keep going.
Absolutely. So I want to I want this podcast to be that space for me. Because I didn't grow up as an only child. My brother, God rest his soul, he was 6 years older than me. And then on top of that, he was a boy. I'm super tomboyish. A lot of people probably don't even know that about me too. Mm-hmm. But I'm super tomboyish because that's all I had was my brother and not a whole bunch of boy cousins or whatever. So, but a lot of the times I was by myself. A lot of the times I was by myself. He would, be off with his friends. It was a time where I was like 9 and he's a teenager. Like he don't want to be with like no like 9-year-old whatever.
So be snitching. Keep going.
Absolutely. Even though I used to be vibing, like I used to have his back or whatever, but he took a lot of whoopings for me too. But I spend a lot of time by myself, so I have I don't want to say only child syndrome because I feel like that's disrespectful to my brother, but I spend a lot of time alone, so I feel like a lot of it I am like really, really, really closed off. Like it's almost pulling teeth. Mm-hmm. That was a part of my non-relationship. That was a part of our problem. That was a part of the problem. He said it was a problem, y'all.
But okay, so this is what I'll say. Like, just as we're going through this episode and we're talking, we're just having just normal conversation. Mm-hmm. What I love about it is just that there is no like real agenda per se. Sure. It's just like us having a conversation, right? Just talking to you.
Yes.
So many people are lonely. So many people just want a space where they can just like feel connected to someone or something. I hope this space becomes that for them.
Yes.
So I hope that they're able to listen to the podcast and just hear different perspectives. Because the one thing I'll tell you is when I listen to a good podcast, it'll either cause me to think about how I think about stuff. Yeah. Like, oh, okay, I never thought about it that way. That makes sense. It might cause me to open up my frame of thought and consider a new way of approaching something. Or it might just make me feel like, see, I'm not crazy. Like somebody else think the same shit I think, you know? Because sometimes when you're talking to the people around you and everybody disagreeing with you, like, okay, so maybe I'm the problem.
Right.
Maybe you need to get out of that circle. Maybe. And so hopefully this is like space where it'll just be, people can just like feel free and just let go and just like enjoy
exactly it. Wow, that's good. Yeah. I like that too. I like that because that's exactly what I've always hoped and prayed that my podcast or even any platform that I'm, I was on the IG Live Vibes for a while, whatever. I
hope you keep those going.
I'm gonna. We're praying steadfastly. We're praying. But yeah, I got some stuff coming up with that too. Praise the Lord. But yeah, I've always felt like, because the space was never created for me. Yeah. I created the space.
Absolutely.
So I hope that that's what that brings, that everybody can just come and just whatever that guard is, including me. Because to me, when I'm in front of a microphone or in front of a camera, I feel like you're seeing everything. So it has to all be stripped down. You just get me. It's just me, guys. That's it. Whatever that is, whatever it is, it's me. Could have been crying before I came, and I've done that many a day too. Many a day, right before our IG Live vibe, boohoo crying and, all right, bitch, get your shit together. We gotta go.
Live.
Yeah, and go live.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, this shit is gonna age well, and I'm gonna tell you why it's gonna age well. Because whatever I say today, if I change my mind tomorrow, it is what it is.
Hey,
this is what I am. The person who I am not tied to any opinion, any position. So when I'm telling you something today, it's what I believe today. It's what I know today. It's what I feel today, based on what I know.
Hello.
But I'm a forever student.
Yes.
And so tomorrow you could listen and I could have a different position. It's because I done met some information that changed my mind.
That's it.
So I just want to say that, and I'm putting that out there too, because for a long time I was afraid to record a podcast.
Yes.
Because people will go back 20 years and they will play something you said 20 years ago. Like, oh, you said XYZ, how they did, what's his name? Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Kevin, yeah.
Like, people have the right to evolve.
They have the right to grow. Absolutely.
And you're going to change some people change their mind as they get new information.
Absolutely.
That's what you're supposed to do.
You're supposed to do that.
So today, I feel this way. 2 weeks from now, I might tell y'all, we don't need no labels on shit. And that's
and that's gonna be what that's gonna be. And both
learned.
things are true.
Yeah, and both things are
true.
Absolutely. Multiple things can be true.
Yes.
So just, I just wanted to say that because
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it here. I think that's the wrap. I feel good about it. Feel good about it, Gil? All right.
So
y'all follow the podcast. Talk to me the podcast. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. We're going to have Threads, YouTube. I didn't even say YouTube. All that. Talk to me. Yeah. Because I talk back. What's that?
And you can also follow me. So on TikTok, I am Tiffany Speaks. My name is Tiffany Ellis, but I go by TIFFAN_E_speaks. And that's why. And Instagram too, Tiffany Speaks.
All right, y'all. Till next time.